Welcome to the Calling All Creeps podcast. My name is Bryce.
And I'm Nathan.
And tonight we are talking about the holy grail of Halloween. That's right, everybody. We're talking about Hocus fucking Pocus. This is monumentous. I've seen Hocus Pocus a bajillion times. But tonight, you're going to get to hear a whole new perspective, because this is Nathan's first time ever watching Hocus Pocus. Absolutely wild as a Halloween fan to just be now watching Hocus Pocus. But I don't want to get into your thoughts too much on it just yet. We're going to go ahead, run through the show, and get your thoughts at the end. That sound good?
That sounds utterly delightful, Brycey boy.
You been having a good week?
I've had an okay week, just extremely beat. These 6-day weeks are really kicking my butt, man. What about you?
Yep. I just moved into a new place over this past week. That's been hectic as all get out. Plus having two babies is super fun. Keeps you up. But I had parental leave from work, and we're gonna be recording this into the wee hours of the morning, and then in the wee hour of the morning, I'm also gonna be getting up after no sleep and going back to work. It'll be good to get back, probably, but, work sucks, so.
It better not be the wee hours of the morning. It's only 9 o'clock right now.
I don't know how we record an hour-long podcast starting at 9 p.m., and we don't get done till like 1 a.m. every time, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, well, we have a lot to say,
We do. So, without any further ado, let us get into Hocus Pocus, 1993 Disney film.
Jump back, twist the bones and bend the back.
Back in 1693, the people of Salem, Massachusetts,
Witches? Yes?
thought they got rid of the Sanderson sisters for good.
We shall be back.
You've got Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathleen Najimy, Omri Katz, and Jason Marsden voicing Binks in here. I wish I'd written down other cast members. They're all great. This is the greatest Halloween movie of all time, as the rest of us know. We're hoping Nathan is on our side now. So let's get into this film.
Glorious morning. Makes me sick.
It opens up to a book titled Hocus Pocus. It's got the date 1693 on it. You got some candles. You got a witch flying over the water in the forest and the village of Salem. The lighting in this is incredible. Thackeray Binks wakes up and realizes his sister is gone. He hears Sarah's song, "Come Little Children," and sees chimney smoke in the woods and the witch luring his little sister, Emily, into the woods. He runs barefoot after him, and once he reaches the cabin, he looks inside, and you get your first great quote of the movie where Winifred goes, "Oh, look, another glorious morning. Makes me sick." Just always a fun line. Winifred wakes up her book with an eye for a spell, and you find out that Sarah's power is luring children with her song. You get your next best good quote, her dancing around the cabin singing "Dead Man's Toe, Dead Man's Toe, Dead Man's Toe." And this is where you find Mary's power is smelling children when they're near. And so they're putting together the spell to regain. You can tell at the beginning of the movie, as opposed to the rest of the movie, they're pretty old here. They're kind of gray and they're wrinkled up a little bit. They're putting together a potion to suck the life out of this child, and eventually all the children of Salem, so they can become young and beautiful again, because that seems to be their main goal here: everlasting life and beauty. They bite off the tips of their own tongue for the last step of the potion. Thackeray busts in to save his sister, dumps their cauldron over. When he zaps Thackeray with lightning to unconsciousness, they then suck the life out of Emily, allowing themselves to grow younger. Then they use a spell to change Thackeray into a black cat that lives forever. The village of Salem busts down the door and strings up the Sanderson sisters. The father has one last question before he hangs them. He wants to know what happened to his son Thackeray. Obviously, they found the body of Emily in there, lifeless, poor kid, whole life sucked out of her. But they don't give him an answer. They just come back with a witty, cat got my tongue. And then they cast one more spell, that someday a virgin will summon them on Halloween. This is also the first Disney movie to ever use the word virgin in the film. And as you can tell, they don't let that go. I don't know how many times they do it, but they say virgin like 10,000 times in this movie. And then they're hung. Poor Thackeray, he's a black cat now. He's trying to get his dad's attention, but, the dad's just like, fuck off, you dumb cat. And that's the beginning of the movie here. What do you think so far, Nathan?
The first thing I was going to say is that the music is great, and it's extremely Danny Elfman. In fact, the whole opening credits scene here is extremely reminiscent of the opening of Beetlejuice, with the helicopter shot going over the roads and forests, and the orchestral score itself is very reminiscent of the Beetlejuice theme. But generally speaking, just extremely 90s, this opening.
Yeah, when we did the DTV episode, we noted that the same composer did a song, I think, towards the end as the ending credits of that. And yeah, he does the score for this, John Debney. Awesome score. This movie is fantastic score to it. And you did mention that, yeah, it is pretty Danny Elfman-esque, which we can tell why this score is amazing.
I was also going to say that this movie is very colorful, and it made me think about the fact that movies used to be colorful. And I feel like if this was shot now, everything would be like very kind of dark and sepia toned. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, they do use a darker lighting for the beginning of this movie a little bit, but it's pretty tasteful here. But I do agree a lot of movies nowadays go like super dark, and yeah, not a lot of color, and I assume they do it to help the mood. To all people that make movies out there, it doesn't. It just kind of usually makes it hard to see. I hate watching movies. I'm like, I can't see anything going on here.
I was also very charmed by the witch house. I love the colored smoke rising out of the chimney. I think the effects are cool. The special effects in this are campy and usually not very realistic, but it's fine here because the whole movie is kind of goofy and over the top. Also, I didn't know Sarah Jessica Parker could be hot until I saw this movie.
That's no shade to Sarah Jessica Parker, but I found her very attractive in this movie when I was younger, and I went to look at her in other films, and not as attractive to myself in anything else she's done.
Yeah, she was hot for like 3 years in total. Because, now I just think of her as the Sex and the City lady. She was also looking pretty good in that Ed Wood, Tim Burton film.
But yeah, I mean, you got Bette Midler, who's a famous singer. You got Omri Katz, who played in a television show, which we'll definitely be discussing sometime, called Erie, Indiana, one of my favorite shows of all time. Again, James Marsden doing the voice of Thackeray Binks. He's an awesome voice actor. He also plays in Erie, Indiana as an actor. Really fun. But he voices like everybody. He's incredible. And casting the Jimmies in a bunch of stuff. I don't know about everyone else if they do a lot of other things, but still some good big names in here. Obviously, I'm a big Omri Katz fan, but yeah, Bette Midler is kind of the big name here. My mom's like a big Bette Midler fan.
Yeah, I would say I'm unfamiliar with most of the cast, personally. But just to zooming out a little bit, I think the opening scene here sets the tone. And right off the bat, there's this kind of tension between the fact that these are very goofy comedic characters, but there's a genuine menace here because they do murder children.
Yeah.
So like right in the very first scene, I'm like, wait, did they just kill that little girl? God damn.
And then they curse this teenage boy to immortality as a cat. I mean, all sorts of morality questions involved here.
By the way, when that cat turns into the talking cat, it becomes this really horrifying looking CGI effect that Almost looks like something straight out of that Sleepy Hollow cartoon we talked about.
I believe it's an animatronic cat, and I think it's the same cat they use as Salem in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch TV show.
Are you sure? It does not look. It doesn't look animatronic to me.
Pretty sure it's animatronic. Could be wrong. Could look it up real fast.
It looks like they just animated like the head of the cat. It's because like the color is off. It's just very weird looking.
Okay, yeah, no, it is a mix of live cats, animatronics, and CGI.
Okay.
But the animatronic cat is the same cat they use in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So, fun little tidbit there. All right, so this origin story of the Sanderson sisters is a story now in what is, at the time of the movie, 1993. The story that a teacher is telling in class. The teacher is dressed as a witch. She's going around scaring the kids with pranks. The room is decorated for Halloween. Super awesome. I hope schools are still like this. With, I don't know, you can just tell everyone is involved. The teacher's enthusiastic about it. She's all dressed up in class. I think that's super awesome. And Max makes an offhand remark, and she goes and asks Max if he'd like to share his California laid-back, tie-dyed point of view. So you're kind of, okay, this is Salem, Massachusetts, and now Max is new here and from California, and he is wearing a tie-dyed shirt. He said, this kid, the fucking balls on this kid. Teacher's like, yo, yeah, give us your shitty opinion. And he's like, yeah, I will. Halloween was invented by the candy companies. It's a conspiracy. And classmate Allison pipes up that kind of gives him a history lesson that it's a sort of a Day of the Dead festival. I think she calls it All Hallows Eve, but kind of gives it a little bit of the Samhain history. And again, the balls on this fucking kid. After, he's a new kid in town. He just stood up to the teacher, and then this chick just out-facted him, just called him an idiot. And he stands up to her in front of everybody, and he says, if Jimi Hendrix shows up tonight, here's my number.
Yeah, I'm very charmed by the notion of giving a girl your phone number on a fucking sheet of notebook paper. I did a double take there, and then I remembered we're in 1993.
Yeah, call up my house. If my dad answers, ask for me. But yeah, right in front of everybody. After she just schooled him too.
Right.
That one always gets me.
In case Jimi Hendrix shows up tonight, here's my number.
Class ends, and Allison takes off, and he's like, well, I didn't get much back after giving this chick my number, and so he chases her down, and he's like, I didn't mean to embarrass you and stuff. She's like, whatever. And he kind of, tells her that he doesn't give a shit about Halloween or the Sanderson sisters. And you can tell she's really into it. And then she hands him back a piece of paper, and you're like, oh, cool. Maybe she just is giving him her number. But no, she gives him his phone number back on a piece of paper. Also fucking hilarious. And this is where you get the my favorite piece of music on the soundtrack. Plays right after this. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Allison something. Do you remember that piece there?
I don't think so.
All right. Yeah, I would go back and listen to it. Everyone go back and listen to it. It's the song that comes to mind when I think of Hocus Pocus. And it's internally... I did send you this song recently.
Is it a song, or is it like a piece of soundtrack score?
Piece of soundtrack music.
Oh, okay. So it's like score.
Yeah, it's just score, and it's amazing. It's one of it might be my favorite score piece of all time. I play it all the time. Sometimes I'll just put it on repeat. I'll listen to it like 50 times in a row. It's super good. But yeah, you get a bunch of great, beautiful Salem fall foliage. The visuals, the backgrounds here are all absolutely amazing. And I had the luck to visit Salem a few years ago, and I'll point out some of the places I got to actually see. But yeah, I lived in Massachusetts for a while. Absolutely love it. All right, so he gets his phone number handed back to him, super burn, and he's takes his bike and he rides back home. Going to the cemetery, you all of a sudden hear, halt. And you get to meet my two favorite characters of the whole movie, Jay and Ice.
I knew you were going to say that these were your favorite characters before you said it. I knew you really like the bullies in the movies.
Yeah, I do. I love these guys so much. So he's like, they're like, who the hell are you? And he's like, yeah, I'm new from Los Angeles. And they're just standing there dumbfounded. They're like, what the hell is that? And he's like, I'm from LA. And they're like, oh, Tubular. And he goes, I'm Jay, and this is Ernie. And Ernie pulls him aside, and he's like, listen, dude, I told you, it's Ice. And he's like, oh, yeah. I'm Jay, this is Ice. And he turns around, and and Ice has Ice shaved in the back of his head. Super awesome.
I found that I wanted to be the blonde bully in the leather jacket.
Oh, yeah, we all do. We all want to be Jay.
Let's just abandon our families and become high school bullies full time.
I-
We can wear leather jackets and steal things from teenagers.
It's really, if we could do it, I would. That's all I would do. I'd become like a '90s Disney bully. It's really the dream.
So, let's have a butt. No thanks, I don't smoke. They're very health conscious in Los Angeles.
And so they're like, okay, well, we're not getting any of this stuff from you. What am I supposed to do with my afternoon? And he hits back with maybe you could learn to breathe through your nose, which Jay laughs and has to get stopped from laughing at his buddy. And then they take a look at his shoes and decide to steal them, which are, I don't know anything about shoes, but they're Nike cross trainers. And, you get a later dude, see Hollywood, and he takes off shoeless now. He's just riding off in his socks. Rolls up to his house, which I have been to this house. It's awesome. It's right on the ocean. You don't really get to see it in the film. They don't really put the fact out there that it's right on the ocean, but it's like right on the ocean.
Wait, you've been to this house?
Yeah. So I went to Salem and I tried to go around and see as much of the. I didn't get as much time as I wanted to spend in Salem, but I did go around and try to see as many Hocus Pocus sites as I could.
Okay, so this was actually filmed on location in Salem.
Yeah, most of it. I think some of it was outside of Salem, but yeah, a lot of this is right in Salem. So he gets home and his parents are like, "I was school," and he's like, "It fucking sucks. I'm pissed we move." He storms on up to his room, and his parents notice his shoes are missing, and they go, "Huh, must be some form of protest," which I think is pretty funny. Pops into his room, and he starts daydreaming about Allison, the chick from earlier. And then his sister pops out of the closet to scare him. She's dressed up as a witch, starts making fun of him for sitting there daydreaming about Allison. And she's like, "Guess what? You get to take me trick-or-treating." He's like, "No way, dude. I don't like Halloween. I don't like this town. I'm not taking you trick-or-treating. Get mom and dad too." But they're going to a party at the town hall, which I also got to go to the town hall in Salem. Also super cool.
I find the little sister kid pretty fun. Kind of annoying, but the little kid actor playing her is doing a very good job, actually, and I normally have low expectations for child actors. The quality of the performances in general in this film is kind of a mixed bag, I find. This is one of the good ones.
Oh, any off top? Who was bad?
The girl who plays Allison is pretty bad.
I don't think she gets a ton. Like, as much as she's like a main character and she's there the whole time, I don't think she gets a ton of actual acting in.
Well, she's an important character, and she just doesn't quite bring it. Like, the actress playing her is not the worst, not untalented, but maybe just a little bit undercooked as a talent, in need of more experience. She's kind of stiff and awkward and monotone, and just has this resting face like she's constantly grossed out by everything. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Danny is super great. I think the actor is Thora Birch. Super awesome actress. And yeah, it does, is a super charming character, but also he plays an annoying little sister super well. So he starts to play the drums to ignore her, and then you get that classic Danny scream. And, you know, once she screams for mom, you know, it's all over. He's taking her trick-or-treating.
Please? Come on, we used to have so much fun together trick-or-treating. Remember? It'll be like old times.
Well, the old days are dead.
The dad goes, "The bewitching hour is about to begin," which is always a fun line. Again, she's dressed as a witch, and his dad inquires, you know, "What are you dressed as?" This is one of those inconsistencies I see. He goes, "I'm dressed as a rap singer," which is pretty fun. His dad's like, "Well, your hat should be on sideways." So you get some awesome trick-or-treat sequences. Again, you get a lot of great visuals of trick-or-treating back in the day. You know, it's nice and dark outside when people should be trick-or-treating. And as the movie goes on, people are trick-or-treating forever, man. Trick-or-treating all night long. Super great.
This scene kind of made me think about what you said as far as how trick-or-treating used to be bigger.
Yeah.
Because, like, you see all these kids, just these streets full of kids in all these colorful, vibrant costumes. And I thought, oh, well, that makes me feel kind of sad.
Yeah, but, you know, it reminds me of when I went trick-or-treating as a kid. That's how it looked, man. All the houses were decked out, and I don't know. When I went trick-or-treating, there was just 100 kids on the street, you know? There were just piles of them. You were walking around groups, and you had to wait in line to get up to doors and stuff. And yeah, nowadays, you know, a lot of them, we notice a lot of people are, like, cutting out as soon as it gets dark, and a little less people. But again, this last Halloween, as we talked about before, I did see a little bit more brightness in the future for that. I did have a pretty good trick-or-treating experience. But all right, you get Jay and Ice and their friends. They're out there terrorizing kids, stealing candy, smashing pumpkins. And again, man, as much as you thought Danny, you know, had some confidence earlier, or Max had some confidence earlier, Danny comes straight up to these teenagers, and she's like, "Get bent. I'm not giving you my candy." And she's like, "Too bad for you. I've got my big brother with me." Which, you know, and then Max is like, "Ah, shit. These guys almost kicked the crap out of me earlier." You know?
It's the world's bitchiest 8-year-old ever.
Right, yeah. Man, tough kid, though.
She's from the streets.
Yeah. And they're like, "What are you dressed as, a new kid on the block?" And Danny goes, "For your information, he's a little leaguer." And I'm like, all right, which is he? Is he a rap singer or a little leaguer? I don't know who got that mixed up there. But probably never a good thing for your little sister to tell your bullies that you're dressed as a little leaguer. Would not help. So he kind of caves into him, gives him the candy, and gets out of there. And Danny's all like, "You should have stood up to him." And he's like, "You just embarrassed me in front of everybody. Get lost." And so she's like, "All right, well, we're done." And so he has to go be a big brother and apologize and stuff. And they talk it out. He's bummed about the move, and she wants him to suck it up and move on. And they decide they're going to go trick-or-treat some more. And so they stop at the next house. And they look up. Big house. Also, pretty sure we got to see this house as well. And they go, "Ugh, rich people. I bet they'll make you drink apple cider and bob for apples."
I was going to say, too, what kind of fucking mansion does this chick live in?
Right. And this is Allison's house. And yeah, her parents are like inside throwing like a 17th...
a 1700s themed party.
Yeah.
Which they're pretty dedicated to with the costumes.
Yeah, man. They're all in powdered wigs and everything. And yeah, Allison comes down, and as Danny predicted, the first thing she does is offer them some apple cider. And she's like, "Nah, I don't want any fucking apple cider." And he's like, "Yeah, we do." Because, he wants to impress this chick. And so Danny starts to do another super embarrass her brother thing. She compliments Allison's costume and says, "Oh, I couldn't fit anything like that because I don't have any yabos." He's like, "But my brother likes your yabos. In fact, he loves them." Unbelievable thing to be said in front of your crush right there.
Yeah, some of the things that they have this child say are borderline, almost like out of line.
It is, yeah. The amount of times she says like that, and the amount of times she comments on her brother being a virgin, it's pretty insane. Like, I don't know what they were going for with this show, but yeah. Then Allison brings up the fact that they, I think her family owns or previously owned or whatever a museum for the Sanderson sisters, and Max knows she's really into it, so he's like, "Let's go check it out." I think it's probably I don't know if it's shut down permanently or if it's just shut down for the day. I feel like it was shut down permanently or something. Danny does not want to go. She's terrified. She's like, I don't want to go to this thing. And he's like, I got to impress this chick. You got to go with me. And she agrees to go with them as long as next Halloween they go as Wendy and Peter Pan, him and Tights, which is the biggest downfall of this movie. Is the movie should have ended with a scene of the next Halloween of them dressed as Wendy and Peter Pan and Tights. So they go to check out the museum for the Sanderson sisters, which is the Sanderson sisters' old cabin. When they get in, Max steals a Zippo, and the place looks exactly pretty much looks exactly like how it looked when the Sanderson sisters still lived there, which is really fun. You start to notice someone's watching them from outside. Who? We never know. They find the black flame candle, which they find out will bring them back to life if lit by a virgin. Max goes ahead to light the candle, and a cat jumps in and attacks him, and he's like, get lost, cat, and lights the candle anyways, despite everyone telling him not to.
Oh, come on. It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
Max, I'm not kidding this time. It's time to go. Max, no!
Immediately, all the lights go out, flames burst out where the lights were, the floor is shaking, glowing green, and the witches bust through the door. Danny tells them that she brought him back to life. It's been 300 years, and they plan to, the way they say it, that maybe they plan to eat her or at least steal her life. Again, Max steps in, they lightning him. This is all very reminiscent of the beginning scene of the movie. And then he gets the really smart idea. He gets a couple really smart ideas in this film. But he takes the Zippo he stole and lights it up and pretends that he's a wizard and that he conjured the flame straight from his hands. And he threatens to rain like the black rain of death or something on them. And he holds it up to the sprinklers. The sprinkler system goes off. And the witches, run and hide to get out of it because they don't want to get the black rain of death.
But the one important aspect of the comedy in this movie is the witches encountering modern technology and not really knowing what to make of it. Although that they're more surprised by some things than others. They don't seem to have too much trouble with the existence of like electric guitars and rock bands and stuff.
Oh yeah, they that's one of those things is they do, like, while they do have a lot of like, oh, what is this futuristic thing? They also have a lot of instances of seemingly being very aware of the times. Like later on, they like ask Max for his driver's license and stuff, and they're like, "How would you know what that is?" And yeah, they sing like a 1950s song on stage, like, "How do you know the words to that?" Or how microphones work, or
yeah. I don't really love when the characters just like break into songs periodically.
The one song.
There's a couple songs in this movie. There's also the one towards the end where they're summoning the children. That one.
The Come Little Children?
Yeah, although I do quite like the song that she sings.
Oh, it's amazing. It's also just a fantastic piece of the movie, a fantastic piece of music. We used to cover that, Calling All Creeps, we used to play that live. Do a really nice, heavy version of it.
Oh, that would actually be quite interesting to hear it as this heavier song.
Yeah, I'd love to record it. Yeah, but we used to play it live to open our shows, though. I thought that was super fun.
Gonna have to make a criticism of the kid who plays the black cat here. I don't think the voice actor playing the cat does a particularly good job, to be honest. I find him kind of grating.
So there are two. So there's the guy that plays the guy at the beginning of the movie, and then they switch actors, and a different Jason Marsden voices the cat later on.
So they have a different actor voicing the
cat. Yes.
The same character. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me, especially when they have the same kid come back.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie there, I don't know, kind of a strange choice.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, they should have just had the same kid, the live action kid, voice the cat, because the Jason Marsden, whatever his name is, I really don't find him to be good. I think his performance.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's the worst performance.
Probably one of the most talented, prolific voice actors ever. Not a fan of him. He's done like
Not in this role.
okay. I like him as Thackeray Binks here as the cat. But yeah, no, you should check out all his roles he's done. He's done like everything.
Yeah, well, maybe this just wasn't the right script, right character. Who knows?
But yeah, so they escape. You find out the cat that attacked them earlier is Binks, Thackeray Binks, and that he talks. And they take the witch's spell book and they run. The witches realize that it's water and not the Black Rain of Death. And they run out, confronted by a blacktop road, which they mistake for a river. And hilariously, they go, okay, and they go ahead and they push Sarah in. They're like, if there's a river, she'll drown in it. But turns out it's just a road. Binks goes ahead and takes them to a cemetery because it's hallowed ground, so witches can't step foot in there. The cat's talking, and Max just goes, he talks, and everyone's like, oh, okay. No one questions it or anything.
Once again, if this was filmed now, the night scenes would be completely dark and all but invisible.
Right? Yeah, they don't do any of that super dark filter stuff in the rest of the film here, which is really nice.
Yeah, and just in case anybody's wondering, those rain sounds, we did not add those. That's Bryce's garage you're hearing right now.
Yeah, I'm in a garage now, and yeah, it's just storming outside. So yeah, if they're coming through, hopefully it's good ambiance. If it's not, I apologize.
I actually think it sounds kind of nice.
Good. We should only record during storms.
It's kind of a vibe.
All right, so you're in the cemetery. Binks takes them over to Billy Butcherson's grave. He's Winifred's lover, cheated on him with Sarah, and so Winifred poisoned him and sewed his mouth shut. Binks tells everyone his story. And again, another weird thing, like, I don't know if it's a learned thing. They don't really explain it, but he talks now, obviously. But when his dad wanted to find him earlier, he couldn't talk to him, so I don't know if he had to learn how to talk, like he's fucking Meowth or something over time, or what the deal is there. All right, so the witches show up in the air. Obviously, they can't step on hallowed ground, and they bring Billy Butcherson back to life, who is played by Doug Jones, the man of 1,000 faces. You've probably seen Doug Jones in a lot of stuff, like Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy. He does a lot of non-human creatures. He's super talented, and yeah, you could, never looks the same, but he does a great
Rotting corpse.
creature. Yeah, Doug Jones is absolutely incredible. But anyways, Max knocks Billy Butcherson's head off, which you find out he can, chase down and put back on. The kids escape into a crypt, and you get your next great quote here. I probably say this several times every day. Winifred goes, damn, damn, double damn.
Also, Maggot Museum is an incredible insult.
Oh, yeah. I wish I had written down all the great insults in here. There's a lot of really good ones Winifred uses. Bette Midler, I think, did a lot of research into using actual old insults. And so you hear a lot of unique insults you've never heard before, which are super fun and add a great bit of authenticity to it. Now you meet probably Nathan's favorite character, the bus driver.
I was gonna say, I fucking love the bus driver.
Bubble, I'm in trouble. And they're like, what is this? And he goes, I call it a bus. I'm like, what does it do? Takes people to their, like, greatest desires. And they go, ooh, we desire children. And he goes, hey, it might take me a couple of tries, but I don't think that'll be a problem. This guy's absolutely fucking wild.
He's so down for these witches, and I was like, are you drunk?
Right?
The only good looking one is Sarah Jessica Parker.
But yeah, and obviously, she and Sarah ends up steering the bus, sitting in his lap, and while they're driving, they hit Binks, who just came out from under a manhole. And everyone's like, oh no, Binks just got run over by a bus. But he kind of like sickeningly all of his bones unbreak and shit. And he's like, unfortunately, I live forever, dude. I can't die.
At first, I was like, no, they didn't. And then he comes back to life and turns back into the horrifying CGI effect.
And so the witches, smelling children, get off the bus, much to the bus driver's dismay. And they're surprised by all the trick-or-treaters outside. Mary smells children, but all they see is what they think are hobgoblins. And she's like, I must have, over these 300 years, I must have lost my sense of children smelling. So there's a guy in a devil costume, and he is outside, being a guy that probably handing out candy and stuff, and they're like, oh shit, it's Satan. They're like, that's our master. What's up, dude? What are you doing here? And he's like, hey, it's the Sanderson sisters. Come on in. And they come in and they meet his super bitch of a wife, and then they just pretty much hang out in his house. Pretty funny shenanigans going on there. And then probably one of the best scenes in the movie, the kids, they go and they see a cop, and they're like, oh, sweet, we need to go tell the police, man. So they run up to this cop, and they tell him all about what's happened, and they broke into the place, lit the candle, and all the witches are back.
Officer, we need your help.
What's the problem?
Well, you see, it's like this. I broke into the old Sanderson house, and I brought the witches back from the dead. See, I even have the book.
You lit the black flame candle.
Yeah.
And, Danny again says, oh, hey, my brother's a virgin, too. The cop pulls him aside, and he's like, really? You're really a virgin? He's like, yeah, I'm going to tattoo it on my fucking forehead. Jesus Christ. Again, this kid can't not catch a break. Poor Max.
I'm pretty sure that impersonating a cop is a highly felonious act. I don't recommend that anybody do it.
Yeah, man. I don't know if back then you could do it or if it's just for the purpose of this movie. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they sell cop costumes at, like, Spirit Halloween and stuff.
He looks like a real cop, though.
But yes, I would say impersonating, like, trying to actually convince someone you're a cop, probably very illegal. But yeah, and that's where, he goes, I put my life on the line for this job, and you're going to give me this crap about witches, and tells him to get lost. And then his wife comes out, and she's like, what are you laughing about? And he's like, these dumb kids thought I was a real cop. She's one of the funniest parts of the whole fucking movie.
They probably would let him be a cop. He's got the right vibe, for sure.
He does. He pulls off being a cop, absolutely. So there are some kids dressed as the Sanderson sisters, and while they're in, quote-unquote, Satan's house, they run up and steal the witch's brooms, which they very stupidly left outside against a fence. Satan's in there dancing with Sarah, and his wife, kicks them all out of their house, and they realize this guy isn't Satan. And these trick-or-treaters, they aren't hobgoblins. They're kids dressed up, and they come to the realization that Halloween has become a time for children to dress up, get candy, and run amok, which is another great quote. Amok, 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 amok. I also say that's too much.
The Three Stooges of witches.
Yeah, right. A little Three Stoogey, huh? So, shoot to the town hall party. This place is hopping. Again, man, I want to see some Halloween parties like this. This place is packed.
I thought the skeleton guy on stage performing was you for a second.
I would take that as a compliment, I think.
It is a compliment, very much.
Yeah, so you can see a lot of great costumes in the trick-or-treating scenes, and obviously tons of great costumes at this party. Max's dad is dressed up as Dracula, and his mom is dressed up as Madonna, which I don't know anything about Madonna. My wife's been trying to school me a little bit on Madonna recently, and this is the only thing I know about Madonna is Max's mom dressed up here.
She was like, her thing was like being this sort of provocative, really sexed up pop star. I think her songs are extremely mediocre, but she would get lots of press and publicity for doing these kind of like provocative music videos and things. There was this controversial music video where it's kind of implied that she gets it on with Jesus.
Okay, that's the thing is like I've always I'm very aware of the name Madonna, but if someone that's so popular, I never heard a Madonna song before. Like my only knowledge of Madonna is this movie, and when they talk about the Like a Virgin song at the beginning of Reservoir
Of
Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, yeah. I think the best way to understand Madonna is just to think of her as like the blueprint for the modern pop girl, like girl pop star, I guess. Your Katy Perry's and your Taylor Swift's.
Probably, yeah. Again, yeah, I just always find it funny that there's so popular a name that I wouldn't. I mean, there's so many pop stars from that time and from earlier that I could list a bajillion songs of, and couldn't list one Madonna song. But anyways, the kids show up to this party, and they're telling their parents what's going on, and the parents are like, "You guys are eating too much candy. You're full of shit." And so they get on stage to warn the townspeople about the witches because they're coming for their kids. And the witches take this and they go, "Hey, thanks for this marvelous introduction." And they hop on stage to sing the 1956 Screamin' Jay Hawkins song, "I Put a Spell on You." Again, how do these witches from the 1600s know this 1950s song? I couldn't tell you, but everyone thinks it's great fun, and obviously, I know you don't like the musical numbers, I guess, in here. This is awesome. This is the best rendition of the song. It's super duper fun.
I can agree with that, because on the one hand, I kind of hate the fact that they burst into song randomly, and I think it's kind of cheap, but I cannot deny that this rendition of this song is absolutely great. Just the perfect version of this.
Right, and you get a little hint at the beginning of the movie. They start to sing when they're about to be hung, and everyone's like, "Don't listen to them." And you can tell that their singing has some sort of power. And so when they're singing here, all the kids are like, "Don't listen to him, don't listen to him." But all the adults are like, "Oh, this is great." And they all listen to them. And so they go through this, again, fantastic, unfortunately, still to this day, as far as I know, unreleased version of the song. I believe it's still sitting in the Disney vaults.
Huh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's no, again, like, what an incredible version of the song. Never an official full release of it ever.
Huh, there must be something wrong with the rights, because it seems like Disney always milks the soundtracks by giving you like, "Oh, here's the special release CD, here's the 30th anniversary version of this and that and the other thing."
Yeah, they did do a limited CD release of the soundtrack back in the day, but this song is missing from it. Yeah, it's never been released. Really sad. If anyone with that power is listening to this, please release that song. I would like to listen to it. But yes, puts all the people, all the adults in the town hall into a trance to dance until they die, which they will proceed to do. So Allison gets the idea to burn the witches using the high school kiln. So they lure these witches to the high school. Max is in there over the loudspeaker. "Welcome to high school hell. I'm your host, Boris Karloff Jr." And they use a tape recording of like learning French, I think, on a boom box inside the kiln. So they think, "Oh, that's the sound of the kids talking," and so they follow the voice into the kiln, and the kids shut the door behind them, turn up the heat, and these three kids essentially commit triple homicide and watch the flesh melt off of these women. And they, essentially they kind of seem like they burned to death here. The kids are like, "Heck yeah, we just murdered some women. Hell yeah!" The kids are super stoked.
Yeah, it is well deserved, I have to say, because again, it's interesting how they go about balancing the sense of menace with these witch characters. Because on the one hand, you could say these are very over-the-top, campy, goofy kids characters, but like I said before, they do murder children. That is part of their thing. Do they even have to do that necessarily?
I think it does have something to do with their immortality as well. At least very much now. If they don't suck the life out of children now, they die forever.
Huh. So it's like vampire logic.
Something, yeah, they lose their immortality. But yeah, the kids are celebrating. The witches are dead, ding dong, the witches are dead. And Max invites Binks to come live with them. They all go back to Max's place. Parents aren't here. Must be still partying. Get a shot of everyone still vigorously dancing at the town hall. And everyone, tired and stuff. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, I think, and they fall asleep. And, again, Max is winning here. This morning he gave this chick his number. It's, that night she's fallen asleep in his arms. Absolutely insane.
My man.
But, shock, boom, the witches are still alive. You get to see Jay and Ice, they're out at 3 a.m., bored, no one's out anymore, obviously, and they're like, they want to do something, but there's not much to do. So the Sanderson sisters, Mary's using her scent of smell to seek out Max, which Ice is wearing Max's shoes, and so she gets drawn to them, but, Max isn't wearing them. And again, you get to see all these great TP toilet papered houses and trees. Again, you don't get to see that anymore. And they call the Sanderson sisters ugly chicks, which they do not like. And the Sanderson sisters, I assume, drag these teenagers kicking and screaming. You don't get to see it, but imagine they drag them kicking and screaming through the streets back to their cabin, and they hang them in almost like bird cages from the ceiling.
The real star of this movie is Sarah Jessica Parker's cleavage.
Max and Allison decided they want to help Binks, see if they can turn him back into human or something, and they decided to look through the book, which Binks has warned them not to do, because when they open it, the book sends out a light signal to call for Winifred. Winifred obviously sees that, and since they're brooms were stolen earlier, they got to hop on they hop on a broom, a mop, and a vacuum. Pretty funny. And they go in search of this book. They get there, they get the book, and they kidnap Danny and Binks. And Sarah begins. You get your second rendition of Sarah singing her song, "Come Little Children," to lure all the children of Salem back to their cabin. And so they got to get, Max and Allison have to get Danny and Binks back, and they decide they have to, again, Max decides, another smart idea. He's got to trick the Sanderson sisters like he did with the fire and the water earlier. And since they're going to die and turn to dust when the sun comes up, he's like, well, they don't know anything about lights, so I'll use my headlights on my car to trick them into thinking the sun has come up. So he does that. He gets there. He fakes sunrise, and the witches all, oh, and they feign death, thinking that this is it. And Max, like a boss, steals his shoes back from Ice, who's still hanging from the ceiling there, and he says, gets them back with a tubular. And they also tip over the potion they had just made, and there's just enough potion for one child. And even though they have Jay and Ice already in the cabin and a horde of children coming to the cabin, it'd be really easy for them right now to take that potion, feed it to one of these kids, suck the life out of them, and then they're saved for good. They keep talking about sucking the lives out of all the children of Salem, but that sounds incredibly impossible. I imagine there probably had to been like 30 kids back in the day when they started that. Now it's probably like 30,000 kids or something, They'd get pretty bored. They'd be like, all right, another spoonful, another,
Their eyes are bigger than their stomach, although it certainly would be very evil, and maybe that's the point.
Yeah, but I assume if they just got one kid and they sucked the life out of it, I think they would save themselves from their sunrise curse here. But Winifred, is just mad as heck at Danny, who calls her ugly, and decides instead of taking the easy route here, she's gonna risk it all. She's gonna go hunt down Danny to get to be the kid she sucks the life out of. So the kids go back to the cemetery, and you see Billy Butcherson coming back at him, and Max pulls a knife on him, and Billy takes the knife and cuts open his mouth, which has been sewn shut. And you see a bunch of moss come out. And again, Doug Jones being awesome. This isn't CGI. He had live moths in his mouth.
Oh, God, that's disgusting.
Yeah. He opens his mouth up, and he's able to talk now, and he starts calling Winifred all sorts of names, and he's like, I'm not helping you out. I'm on the kid's side now. They're trying to protect Danny, but, Danny messes it up, and Winifred grabs Danny. Binks hops out of a tree, knocks the potion out of her hand. Again, there's only enough left for one kid. Max drinks it so that she can't suck the life out of Danny anymore. And so she, has to let Danny go and gets Max instead and starts to drain Max's life. Another question I have does Max die early now? Does he die at 40 or something like that? I don't know. But she seemed to suck a lot of the life out of him, though. I mean, she got a lot of it in there, and it didn't take very much for poor little Emily to die at the beginning of the movie. So I don't know if when they die at the end of the movie, if it gets reversed or if he just dies early. I don't know.
Yeah, in the sequel, he just immediately dies of leukemia when he's 20 years old or something.
They we'll probably talk about it sometime, but they did do a sequel.
Oh, really?
Really? Yeah, in the past year or two.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
So probably a good 30 or so years after this one was released. I think a sequel, again, a sequel doesn't make any sense, as we'll talk about. We'll talk about the sequel here in a minute.
Oh, that should be interesting.
But yeah, so she's sucking the life out of Max, and the sun is starting to come up, and Winifred falls off her broom onto hollowed ground, which again, she's not allowed to be on. So while she's there, she turns to stone, the sun comes up, and all three witches burst into dust. Binks dies, Billy crawls back into his grave, and then you get Binks's ghost comes, and he says goodbye to everybody, and he gets reunited with his sister, which is all, very pleasant, very sobby. The town hall party finally ends. Again, the curse is lifted. It's got to be, 7 a.m. by now or something, and everyone's like, wow, it was some sort of party, Everyone's clearly been dancing for hours nonstop. So they're all pretty exhausted. And then you get one last look at Jay and I still stuck in their cages singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And the camera shifts over to the book, and it opens its eye as the movie ends. And that is Hocus Pocus. It's all just a bunch of Hocus Pocus.
Indeed it is, Bryce.
So, but yeah, they did make a sequel. Again, I think again a sequel doesn't make sense because obviously here at the end of the movie they died, and they died for good. They burst in the dust, blah blah blah. So it doesn't make sense that they could come back. Well, a sequel would have been fun 30 years ago. They made it, 30 something years later or something like that, and it was whatever. And if you haven't heard yet, they did just confirm a Hocus Pocus 3.
Finally.
In the past, by the time this podcast comes out, it'll been a little bit later, but as of we're recording, just in the past few days, they announced Hocus Pocus 3.
Huh. Is it really that big of a franchise?
And yeah, I mean, that big of a franchise. So it's got a storied past with that, where this movie came out. I'm trying to think of, there was another Halloween movie. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if it was Nightmare Before Christmas or something like that came out the same year and came out closer to Halloween. And this movie came out in June or July, and this movie totally flopped. Didn't do well. Big bummer for everybody, but it's one of those things that through TV and VHS became something that people watched, and it has become a huge cult classic ever since.
That's crazy. They put it out in July?
Yeah.
That is insane, because this movie has all of the necessary ingredients to be a blockbuster. The fact that they pushed it out in December, it just makes no sense at all to me.
Again, I think they did it because they didn't want to compete with the other big Halloween movie coming out that year.
Well, that's too bad. It's a Halloween movie, clearly.
Yeah, still obviously hindsight, not a good decision on their end. But as much as it might have flopped back in 1993, when I was a kid, I mean, this was the Halloween movie. I mean, still to this day, I watch it several times a year.
So it gained cult status over time. It's one of those movies that later found an audience.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, I would assume most people kind of think of this as the Halloween movie, and I don't know, everybody knows this movie, everybody loves this movie, and I assume that especially with all the 90s nostalgia stuff in the past few years, was probably a big kick into making the sequel, and now again for whatever reason making a third movie. But yeah, it's become a huge thing. It's part of Halloween. It's again it just might be like the biggest Halloween movie ever.
I guess I just feel a little skeptical of that because I've never heard of this before. Certainly didn't hear about any sequels. A popular, successful film, I can see it, but I don't like the way you're selling it. Makes me kind of skeptical.
Now, you never even heard of it?
Nope, not until like a month ago or whenever it was that you mentioned it to me, brought it up in conversation. But you're saying that it's like the biggest Halloween thing ever is the case that you're making.
Yeah, I would say like this one and like Halloween Town are.
Don't even know what Halloween Town is.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I mean, everything I've ever seen. I mean, Hocus Pocus is always number one, top of the list. Everybody's favorite. I mean, it's nonstop talked about constantly. It's a big deal. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to convince you here, but man, I'm being honest. I mean, Hocus Pocus is.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, it's like in your opinion, not my opinion, but in your opinion, it's like the Beatles of Halloween. It's like it's the thing, or in my opinion, it's like the Elvis of Halloween.
I guess, like in my mind, just through cultural osmosis, I've always been led to believe that the biggest Halloween time movies would be like number one, the Halloween franchise, Michael Myers, and then number two would be Friday the 13th, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, and like
Chucky, Scream.
or like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm not saying horror film. I would say Halloween film. I would still say it rivals those films as well, though if some people aren't into a more kid-friendly type of movie, if they're just into slasher stuff like that, they might not care about this movie as much. But I would say generally, yeah, this is as equally well-renowned or known, if not more. So what'd you think about it, Nathan? What were your thoughts? Tell everyone here. I'm hearing them now for the first time. Everyone here, you're hearing it for the first time. What are your thoughts on your first watch of Hocus Pocus?
I think it's pretty good. I think that it is a very impressive production, great music, great visuals and cinematography. The performances are a bit of a mixed bag. I'd say that this movie does have its flaws, but none of them are fatal. I think that if I wanted to be harsh, the worst things I could really say about it are that there are some bad performances from some of the actors, and I think that it's a bit overly sappy at times. It does suffer from a little bit of that Disney thing of just being kind of overly sentimental and sappy. The ending is a bit goofy and forced, but overall, I think these are quibbles. This is a perfectly good production, and I have plenty of nice things to say about it. I might have vibed with this more if I watched it as a kid. I think coming to it at my age now as an adult, it's like, it's just never going to have the same magic. It's clearly aimed at a demographic, at an age demographic that is not me, so it's not for me. And that's very apparent when I watch it. Very clearly, the best thing about this movie is the witches.
Yeah? Seems to be kind of everyone's opinion is the witches are their favorite part. That's not my case. I like Max the best. Max is the star of the show to me.
That's interesting. I mean, the actor playing Max does a very good job. I think as a character, he's just sort of strikes me as a very generic, cool 90s kid.
Hey, well, you say generic, I say classic.
Well, there you have it, folks. But yeah, the Three Witches, that's the selling point. That's the part that really needed to work, and it really, really works.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, three very talented actresses gelling together super well. I know Bette Midler said this is her favorite thing she's ever done. Kathy and the Jimmy is a big fan of it as well.
The chemistry between them is excellent. Can't knock it.
Yeah, I think I read that Sarah Jessica Parker doesn't have any memories or much care for it. I think she was like, I think I did that movie once. I think there were witches in it. I think we killed people.
Was she high or something?
I don't know.
Or drunk?
That's it. It flopped at the time, so it was probably just a job that didn't go very well for her. But yeah, she really enjoyed the flying apparatus because they had to hoist them up for the flying scenes and stuff. And so while everyone went on breaks and stuff like that or went to lunch, she would just have them hoist her up and she would just hang out in the flying hoists.
And as far as the cast goes, I would say that the bullies are also a highlight for me, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And also the Danny, the little girl who plays Danny, does a excellent job too, I think. The the kid who voices the cat, the Jason Mars guy, I would say that he's a weak point. I think the actress playing Allison is also kind of sucks. So, mixed bag as far as the cast goes.
So what would you give a rating for this as?
I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10 disembodied human skulls.
7 out of 10. Again, yeah, I probably agree with you. If you'd watched this as a kid, I think it would be a different game. Not that I think, like you said, I don't think the quality has lessons without the nostalgia factor there. But I think the nostalgia factor does definitely play a point. It is just part of a lot of people's childhood Halloween. But yeah, obviously, 7 out of 10, I'll take it, I guess. I'm going to give this a big ol' 11 out of 10 disembodied human skulls, man.
Of course.
This is the movie. This is if you got rid of everything Halloween ever, you're gonna keep one thing. I would just keep this movie.
I mean, it's good. It's a good movie. I could see this growing on me. Honestly, I could see myself watching it again and liking it more the second time, potentially.
Well, I'm gonna look forward to a yearly watch party with you. We'll watch this
Indeed.
together, like buds.
Okay, but you got to give a real rating, though. What's your real rating?
Yeah, we'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay, well, between the two of us, it averages out to an 8.5. I guess that's not really how it works, though.
I don't know how. Yeah, it could be if you're interested in that. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, I would watch this again, maybe with friends. It's good for kids. There are much, much worse things that you could watch than this. Like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. I liked it well enough. This is light years ahead of that.
Yeah, as much as Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost is also one of my favorites ever. This outdoes it all for me. Yeah, just I can't think of. Yeah, this is just one of my favorite things ever, Halloween or not.
Well, again, I just can't believe that they pushed this thing out in theaters during the summertime. That's just insane to me. It really should have been a blockbuster. It was. It had all the makings of a blockbuster.
Yeah, but it's become now, man. So. Yeah, I wonder if that was just the reason, because people didn't want to see a Halloween movie in the summer.
Maybe there weren't enough big stars. I'm not sure exactly how star-studded this would be considered in 93.
Yeah, and Nightmare Before Christmas was the movie they would have been competing against in 93.
Oh, yeah, well, Nightmare Before Christmas would have mopped the fucking floor with this.
Shoot, Nightmare Before Christmas doesn't lay a finger on this.
I mean, speaking of one of the most iconic season-defining things ever, this kind of feels like a my dad could beat up your dad sort of conversation.
It is. It is. I can't deny that Nightmare Before Christmas is up there for everybody. Everybody seems to kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Even people who hate Tim Burton.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big deal. It's not my thing, but I'm sure we'll cover it.
Oh, yeah. Probably like closest to Christmas time. In fact, that's probably going to be my episode that I choose closest to Christmas itself. But don't let the criticisms that I have of this bring it down too much. It is a good-ass movie, and I appreciate the fact that you showed it to me and made me aware of it.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had any more. Do you have any more to say on Hocus Pocus?
Probably nothing that I haven't already said. I'll just say once again that I think the score is excellent. In fact, it might even be my favorite thing about this movie is just that soundtrack, really.
Yeah, the soundtrack is very fantastic. It's also a regular listen for me.
Yeah, it's good as shit.
But, yeah. Well, creeps, that was Hocus Pocus. Go watch it. Go let us know what you think about it. Feel free to correct Nathan on everything he's wrong about on it. or correct me. Or agree with us. I like it. But, yeah, this has been the Colonel Creeps podcast, part of the October Society. Check us out on all your social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz. Check out our previous episodes, and be sure to tune in next week for another creepy episode of Calling All Creeps. Until then, bad dreams.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Coming down the way, and it's carrying your father to his grave. And I know you miss him so, I know you wish you didn't have to go, but I've got good news for you. You'll be joining in soon. 'Cause when I get the time, you are gonna die. I'm the man that killed your father, and I'm gonna kill you with the same knife. I just can't wait to get you alone. Now you're trapped with me, and now you're gonna bleed. 'Cause when I get the time, you are gonna die. I'm the man that killed your father, then I'm gonna kill you with the same knife. Well, go ahead and scream. You are only making this more fun for me. I love your twists and turns and your thing. I finally got the time, and now you have died. I'm the man that killed your father, and now I've killed you with the same knife. can't wait to attend your wake. I'll bury you with that same knife. That's your funeral.